Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on Assetto Corsa with a challenge. You see, last week I built a V8 smart car on automation. It had a 1.4 litre twin turbocharged V8, a really rather crazy engine, put out over 400 horsepower in, the tiny chassis of a smart car. And as much as I love automation, it is a fantastic game. Unfortunately, you can't actually get to drive the vehicles, and I was really curious at just how such a crazy vehicle would handle. Thankfully, someone went and made a mod for it, for Assetto Corsa. A big thank you to HazewinDog for building this contraption as close as possible to the specs of my V8 smart car. Yes, it is a Fiat 595, but the engine has been is exactly the same. Things like brakes and tyres, etc., have all been made as close as possible to the vehicle that I designed. And I'm now going to try and drive this monster around the Zandvoort circuit. I would like to try and complete a lap without spinning, crashing, or bumping into something. I'm not 100% sure that is going to be doable, but going to give it a go. Now, you will notice I have got ABS on. There is a very good reason for that. I did a quick test just to make sure the mod was working and everything. And if you don't have ABS on, you touch the brakes and everything locks up. So yeah, I have put ABS on in the hope of at least making a corner with this car. The rest of the assists, though, are turned off. Now, the big thing to watch out for, you just saw it there, is when the turbos kick in, if you are being a little too aggressive with the throttle, everything will spin. The rear wheels will spin, and then you will spin and probably hit a wall. So you've got to be so very, very careful, and it's very tempting to mash the throttle because at a low RPM there is no power whatsoever. So it's very tempting just to mash the throttle, and then it hits sort of the 5,500 RPM. Turbos kick in, and you go round in a circle because it's just spun the wheels and flipped you around. We have, I very briefly got it to full throttle. Stop, finish straight. Crap, we should go on the brake because I don't quite know how well we're going to stop down towards this first corner. I mean, the trick is you really want to try and keep it in the high RPMs. The problem is it's so difficult to drive up there because it just wants to spin the wheels. When you're outside of them, there is just no go to the car whatsoever. Got it, we can barely keep it on. It's about as difficult as I was expecting, to be honest. It just wants to spin around on you. And it's not just the brutal power delivery itself. I mean, that's a pretty damn scary thing on this car. But even when we take that out of the equation, the handling is not particularly great in this car. There is no rear end grip whatsoever. Just absolutely nothing on here. Oh, it's bumpy, very bumpy down there. That's not fun in such a small, lightweight, and, well, I say relatively fast-moving car. So the thing is vibrating and shaking my desk so much I just fell over on the desk. If you'd have heard that in the background, that's not ideal. Oh no, got distracted. Oh, somehow I kept it. Something else has fallen off my desk as well. That gives you an idea just how much this is shaking. Oh, there goes the wheel spin. Caught me. Ugh. Bloody hell. It's just absolutely not forgiving in any way. You get it a slight, tiny bit wrong. I mean, we haven't actually spun the car as such, but we are quite lucky to still be pointing the right direction. Oh, there we go. That's probably going to be it. Nope, we're going to... I saved it initially. Couldn't save the secondary bit of it. Bloody hell. This is not a safe car. I'm going to say that much about it. I would not want to drive this car, really. It's just so dangerous. The speed is not massively impressive simply because you can't use it. You can't use any of the power in this car because the second that you go near that, there we go. Oh, bloody hell. It's terrifying. Okay, maybe if we're going a bit faster in higher gears, maybe we could possibly use some of the speed up to, well, we've barely got really above 100 kilometers an hour, so we're struggling about 60 miles an hour, and this thing is just undrivable. And 60 miles an hour is not an unreasonable speed to be going, and this is just, oh god. Right, Coming up to what we've almost completed a lap now with the crazy... Oh, there it goes again. Okay, no, in second gear we're not too bad. It's first gear we've really got to watch out for the crazy wheel spin. Okay, these long corners are not quite so much fun. I may have had a wheel on the dirt as I went to turn in ever so slightly, and, well, that's bad in normal cars, let alone in this thing. Just, oh, right, there it goes. Oh. You get no warning. I think that's the worst thing about it. There is just absolutely no warning. That I actually thought we were going quite nicely onto the start-finish straight there. Thought things were going quite well. And it just immediately lets go. And I don't have fast enough reaction times to even vaguely contemplate saving that. That is the speed at which it snaps on you. Right, okay. Second gear. Second gear, you see, we can kind of go full throttle for a little while. Where do they... Okay, so there we go. Oh, that's me not really changing the the amount of throttle input I'm doing. That's just it suddenly picks up. And we're off down towards turn 1 at 3:46. That's... a lap time with a couple of spins involved. We would probably be quicker just not going anywhere near the anywhere near the turbos. We'll just keep it nice and safely out of the turbo range, and then it's just like 80 horsepower I think it gets to when we're below these figures. So it's, well, how much is the standard fee? It had about 30 or something, so it's, you know, twice as quick as the normal 595. Was it 30, 40? I can't actually remember now. Yeah, that's probably the safest thing to do. Oh god. I love the craziness of the car. I really do. But it will be the death of you. You know, the early Dodge Vipers were notorious for being, you know, quite crazy death machines. This is more than... I'm trying to think of other cars that are quite crazy death machines, but I don't think the TVR Speed 12, they said, was far too dangerous to drive on the roads. But even that is more composed than this. And we're really not going fast. I think that's the worst thing about it. Like, all of the crazy sort of hypercars and the vehicles that are just absolutely terrifying machines were all terrifying because of the speeds that they could get to. This is terrifying at 60. It's just... it's completely useless. Might have some, you know, some pretty damn impressive figures. Oh, Christ, that was a big bump, whatever that was we hit. Yeah, it has impressive performance figures. Eey. Okay, somehow we caught that. Nope, shouldn't have done that. We should have just been careful. God, this will really test throttle control. I don't think there is any vehicle I have ever driven that tests throttle control and patience. I think patience is perhaps even a bigger part of this. You've got to be so gentle with all of the inputs. Because if you're not, there we go, we're going to have really big wiggle through that corner. Come on, let's see how far. No, oh god. Even there, it just wants to go immediately. How fast can we get you to go down the start-finish straight? That's what we're going to try. 130 kilometers an hour. This is not very far. I would have put it in miles an hour. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm sure there is a way though to get it to miles an hour. Oh, it's just useless. Been a while since I've played this game. If we can get, I don't even know what I want to go for really down the. If we can get down the start-finish straight without spinning, I think that would be pretty good going. God, I would not want to take my hands off the wheel to change gear in this car. I'd just be terrified of it snapping away from you and smacking into something solid. Ooh, that's a big slide. We managed to keep it, not quite sure how. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's about 6,000 RPM. I'm slightly wrong. No, it's gone again. I can't save it when it does that. It's just nothing you can do in the car. Come on, get going. Try and keep it out of the wall. It doesn't really... Well, it doesn't get going very well from a standing start. You basically have two options for launching it. You either have it in neutral and change up to first and just spin the wheels, but we weren't actually turning whatsoever there, or we just kind of do it normally, in which case it takes it forever to get to get up to the rev range, and then you immediately have to lift off. You completely and utterly have to lift off the throttle because it's going to spin the wheels. Right, here we go. We're on the straight, pointing the correct direction. It is crabbing a little bit across the road and wiggling, and well, I can't really use very much throttle because it just about 140 kilometers an hour is all I'm going to really be able to get out of it. here because it's just too brutal. Oh no, we're gonna lose the back end. I tried. Yeah, you can very, very. Sure, well done, car. Car actually knew where it wanted to go. I'm impressed. You can sort of just about catch the first bit of the slide, and then immediately it's going to twitch on you, and that's the downside of such a short wheelbase. You know, they can get notoriously twitchy. Well, we're going to stuff that in the wall. It's pretty much undrivable. Without any assists on the car, it is completely and utterly unusable. The power is delivered in such a crazy fashion that it spins the wheels. It's too twitchy. Yeah, it is a complete and utter useless car with some impressive figures. However, I did have the foresight to put the assists as option bits on the vehicle when I built it in automation. So, going to have a go with assists on with the vehicle. I don't even know if the traction control is going to be able to deal, whether it's going to actually allow me to put any power down at all. It might be too intrusive with this car. It may just not go forward at any speed. We shall find out and see how the car fares now that I have got all of the assists put on. Should, and it already is more drivable. I'm liking this. We've got round a corner and it hasn't tried to murder me. It's still not easy to drive. We still do not have a huge... Look at this, I'm on full throttle coming around the final turn. That is just not something that you can do with the car. When you don't have this, you just can't physically do that with the car. It's at 180 kilometers an hour before. I don't really quite know how well the brakes work in this car, so I'm going to go, yeah, probably a good idea to about go on the brakes there. It's quite bouncy inside here. In fact, it's very bouncy. In sort of through these corners. Not something that I noticed particularly before because, well, we're not really going fast enough at any of these points. You're too busy being terrified of the car trying to throw you in a wall. We do not actually have very much grip. Even now with the traction problem essentially sorted, we don't have the crazy wheel spin whenever the turbos kick in. It is doing well enough. I should probably put it in first because we've really got to stay in that power band. I love how the traction control light is probably going to be on about 90% of this lap because it's just not going to be able to find grip on its own. It is accessible now, more accessible. Slightly more accessible. It's still not a safe car to drive whatsoever. It's still very, very tricky. The back end wants to let go constantly. The bumps don't help because it is so light. It really... Never noticed just how bumpy Zandvoort is until you drive something like this around here. You find every single little bump in the circuit with a car like this one, but it's now a usable vehicle, pretty much. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with. Oh God, there we go. We've found. My brain was immediately just panicked because I was getting things slightly wrong there. Still in the. The old mode without the assists, and probably booting it in first gear would not normally be a good idea. However, like this, it does work. It's still not amazingly far. I mean, the traction control is working overtime to just stop it from spinning the wheels, pretty much. And it must be sort of severely restricting the amount of power that I can really deploy. Oh God, no! That's almost went very wrong through there. You can still get in a world of trouble with this car, even with all of these assists working together and working pretty well. Yeah, I wonder if there is at any point where this wouldn't be spinning its wheels when you're going flat out. Maybe, I don't even know if it got up towards its top speed. I don't know if that would even still be, oh God, bumpy final corner. Come on. We can hold it in third gear flat out around the final turn. That is lovely. Yeah, I don't even know if you had the longest straight possible, whether it could ever stop spinning its wheels in the higher gears, trying to reach its top speed, etc. Oh, 180. Yeah, I'm going to have to go on the brakes there because I'm not really sure. Hey, 2:43. We found a minute in lap time. It wasn't a very good lap either. That last one. This one here is not particularly perfect. It's not got very good brakes. It's for slowing it down in that first turn. It really just, yeah, kind of panic and hope that it might work. Oh, that curb's nasty. Don't hit that curb. We're going to go gallivanting. Oh, a little bit of exploring, quite bumpy exploring around there. These curbs are quite nasty. I imagine you could probably roll the vehicle off them. If you had the control to hit the curbs in the right way, I have no doubt you could find a way to roll this vehicle across them. I just don't... God, I don't really have the control to... a lot of this is kind of guesswork and hope. A lot better than with no assists on whatsoever. This car... Oh, that's bumpy. No. Calm down, crazy machine. We're going to have to go on the brakes there. This car is kind of a bit like the Eurofighter. The Eurofighter has like 1 million computers to keep it in the air, because it's designed to be unstable, so it's maneuverable, but that means that if you don't have all the computers doing, I can't remember the figures, but there's so many adjustments a second just to keep the plane in the air. That's kind of how this car is. You can't turn the assists off. You turn the assists off and it's just undrivable. Completely and utterly undrivable. Oh, okay, you can drive it. You would have to drive it very, very slowly to keep it under control, really. As soon as you start trying to use any throttle, as soon as the turbos kick in, just everything spins. So, yeah, you've kind of got to have the assists on in this car if you want to get the most out of, if you want to survive, basically. If you do keep them on, it's not a terrible car. It's still not quite as quick as I was sort of expecting it to feel. In all honesty, I don't think it is a particularly good car. It's just, yeah, it's too stupidly powerful and too difficult to drive. So the traction control is having to restrict everything to stop the wheels spinning, so you don't get the benefit of that 400 horsepower. Oh, careful now. And yeah, the actual handling still isn't really there. The rear end is far too wiggly for my personal liking. But you can get it around Zandvoort without ending up in a wall. Shall we go for one more lap? My last one was a 2:44. Let's see if we can get... I doubt we're probably going to get it under the 2:40 somehow, even with a pristine lap. I doubt I can manage that. And you really have got to make sure... Even with the traction control on, you've still got to make sure that you are keeping it within, keeping it above 6,000 RPM, pretty much. Anything below that, and it is next to useless, pretty much. So, yeah, first gear is going to be quite heavily used throughout this lap. Oh, we're bouncing a little bit wide through there. That's such a vicious curb on the inside. I do like the Zandvoort track, though. This is a fantastic track to drive around. I would love to see it in more games. I'd love to see it come to Forza. Ooh, bumpy. This bit here is terrifying, trying to do it flat out. I think the car can probably just about do it flat out. Ooh. yeah, you can. You can just about do it flat out, but you are likely to get some airtime if you take that line that I took. Oh, we're gonna keep it around there. Traction control must be the amount of stuff that traction control must be having to do to try and keep this car pointing in the right direction and not spinning the wheels be immense in here. Be absolutely absolutely crazy. Oh no, I've done a stupid. That was completely my fault, Ran. It's I don't like those two corners. The two corners that I struggle most with on this track. I just didn't quite get it turned in soon enough. Missed the apex by an utter mile. That one there was... It just can't deploy any power down here. It struggles so much to hand it down. Even with all of these assists, the car is not massively comfortable going sort of full throttle in a straight line. Even sort of down there, it wants to crab around all over the place. It wants to slide. Oh, that's better through these final couple of final sort of chicane area. And we've got a double apex last corner coming up. Come on. Oh no, we're still moving about across the road. God, it's still not very fun to drive. Oh, get your foot down. We can be flat around this final turn. I turned in a fraction too soon. We're going to find all of the bumps down there. That's not good. Did have to have a little lift. Trying to make up some time. Whether it's going to be good enough to get it into the 230s, I don't know. Here we go. Run towards the line. And it's not. It's 2:43. 0. What a machine. I'm going to go with that as a way to describe it. It's definitely something. You have pretty much got to keep the assists on though if you want to even drive it at any speed at all. You got to keep the assists on, because the way the power is suddenly delivered, this car doesn't have the grip to deal with it. The wheels will spin and it will snap on you so fast. You just can't catch the car in time. With the assists on, yeah, it's drivable. It's still not the best handling of vehicles. It's still a bit wonky. It's certainly created a death machine, pretty much. The only way to describe this vehicle. It's utterly ridiculous to drive, but a fantastic challenge to try and get. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to have a go with this creation in a game. It's, yeah, like nothing else you'll probably ever really drive in a game. That much is for sure. So yeah, if you like utterly uncontrollable machinery, I would recommend cars designed by me. If you like normal vehicles, I probably wouldn't recommend the cars that I come up with. That is the crazy V8 powered Fiat 595. Essentially, it's, yeah, not particularly drivable, terrifyingly scary, but certainly an experience like no other. So there we go. That is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.